Hi and welcome. My name is Katka Nair and you're watching Synchro Shakti. Today we're talking about how practices like Ho'oponopono can affect you in terms of your karmic debt, your mental health, your financial health, and the health of the world in general. When talking about guns, or you're talking about the traffic issues or deforestation, whatever's going on in the external reality that is subjective to you. Because not everybody is thinking about what you're thinking about or what you're experiencing in your reality. So your reality is very subjective. So to understand how Ho'oponopono affects these things, let's go back down to the core of spirituality. Spirituality is, in a sense, understanding who am I? Who am I? This is the concept of spirituality. What is the self? So if you've ever sat down and done any self-inquiry, that means that you're looking at seeing, okay, who am I? If I have a sense of self, let's say my sense of self is my name is Joe, I'm 29 years old, I work at the Costco's, whatever is your sense of self, if you say, okay, this is me, then where am I located? If I could give a location to where I am in my body, would I be located here, or would I be located here, or am I located here, or am I located behind my eyes? Where am I located? Where is my sense of self? And when you locate that, you will notice that there is something within you that is observing this character. There is an awareness inside of you that's observing the character named Joe. So, my name is Joe, I'm 29 years old, I work at the Costco's, but is there something within me that's observing this? And there's something within you right now that's listening to me that has no identity, that has no age, and it has no limitation. It's a limitless space that we call awareness. That awareness, that consciousness, that beingness is who you actually are, and that's who I am, that's who you are. We are essentially beingness, we're the same consciousness. What's different between us is your mind and my mind. So within this space of awareness, this beingness, this consciousness, arises what we call as the mind, the identity. We call emotions, and experiences. This stuff arises within our consciousness. So consciousness is us, the mind, the identity, the story is just a temporary experience within consciousness. Now your karmas, your experience of reality, your experience of deforestation and traffic problems and gun problems and all of what you're experiencing in your reality is stemming from what is going on up in your mind. And I'll tell you why that's happening. So most of us have forgotten who we actually are, which is beingness, and we've identified with what we think we are or who we think we are, which is Joe, who's 29 years old, works at Costco, is very unhappy with the gun situation in the world, This character, it's kind of like a water bottle, and consciousness is kind of like water. What your mind focuses on, consciousness takes that form when you forget who you actually are and begin to identify with the stories and the conditions that you feed into, or your mind is conditioned to think about constantly. So basically what you focus on, you give energy to. Your consciousness takes a form. So Ho'oponopono and mindfulness are practices they're just signposts. They are not some sort of magic things that exist outside the mind. They still exist within the mind. But for some reason, when you practice these practices, it allows you to disengage yourself from this mind. It allows you to disidentify yourself with the programs and the memories and the nonsense and the karmic energies within your mind, enough for you to begin to notice what's on the other side, which is the state of zero, the state of pure completion, or your awareness or your consciousness, the state of beingness. This is the most balanced state possible. This is the state of the pure consciousness. As you begin to see the difference between this illusionary self, this world being a complete illusion, and you understand yourself as pure consciousness, that which is not real and that which is not aligned with pure consciousness begins to dissolve. It's kind of like a flashlight. If you take a flashlight and shine it in a dark room, the darkness begins to get transmuted into light. It's not that the darkness runs away into a different room, it's just that the darkness gets transmuted into light. Same way, your consciousness, your beingness is what dissolves that which is not in alignment, not that which is not pure in the world, and it begins with your mind when you can begin to observe it. So mindfulness and Ho'oponopono give you enough space for you to watch your mind, enough for you to dissolve that which is in it, including your karmic debts, including your thoughts around the universe around you and your money and all of that. Therefore restoring yourself back into the state of zero, back into the state of completion, and that completion is therefore reflected back in your life, where your finances and the things that are needed to keep you living in a completed happy state is what is going to get reflected to you. So this answer may or may not have made sense to your mind, and that's okay. But as you practice it, there'll be a little stillness that will come within you, and you'll notice that I'm not the character. I'm not my mind, I'm not my goals, I'm not my ideas, I'm not any of the stuff. What I am is the presence behind that. As I am the presence behind that, that which is not in alignment begins to fall. We're all one consciousness. That's why, since most of us are thinking about the ISIS, most of us are aware of ISIS. But the reason why we're experiencing a lot of negativity in our world is because that's what the ego mind is feeding through its resistance of that which is being experienced. But when you can stay in the pure state, which is the zero state, there is no judgment or resistance. Therefore, the movement can happen, and clarity and consciousness can therefore transmute that experience back into itself. As long as you're in the realm of the mind, you'll be subject to the subconscious mind and all its karmas, its issues, its ideas, its concepts, its belief systems, its programs. Disidentification with them will allow them to dissolve, because you're not giving them any energy to keep running in a loop. Their effects in your reality also dissolves. So I thank you all for watching. I love you all. Namaste.